What up, bitches?
Hi.
Okay, I need to tweet this shit. I always fucking forget to do
I
this.
know.
We're literally already starting.
I just did it right now. Okay, so we'll give everyone some time to get in here. I have something to show everyone.
Oh God, what is it?
Oh, got you! I got a
Oh my God.
Hi, baby.
Hi, baby. What's her name?
This is Gabby.
Oh my goodness. Did you guys rescue her?
We just got her literally yesterday.
Oh my God, she's so cute.
Yeah, she's a good girl. She's just been chewing on her bone. She's already doing really well with potty training. She's learning shake, down. She's learning wait.
I love how you were like, I don't want a pup, or I don't want a puppy because it's too much work to find a baby. I'm gonna get a cat, and then
literally
she gets a
is.
dog.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I think I might have YouTube open. Hold on.
Hi, baby.
Say hi, Lilith.
Hi, kitty.
Your eyes look so pretty in the sun, girl. Okay.
I love that. Yeah, I really did. You know, I was gonna get a cat because, you know, like we said, it's so much more low key. But I'm also not working right now, and I don't really need to work for like probably another month. And I was like, there's no better time to train a puppy than when you're just at home with the puppy all the time.
That's true.
So we're doing it. We just got a puppy. She's vibing. She's just been eating her bone for like an hour, and she like just loves her bone. So
what a good girl. We love that.
Yeah, she's a really good girl. She's
a little baby.
So she's a youngin', but she's gonna be very, very smart. I want to like teach her to like. Last time I was in Kansas City, we were downtown, and I was literally walking down the sidewalk, and we saw this dog just like sitting there on the sidewalk. Like its owner was like, stay, and like it went into a store and just left its dog. And I was like, I want my dog to be that smart, just like off leash, just sitting there.
That's amazing.
Dogs are super smart.
Dangerous, but also it's just like a very, very smart dog. So
yeah, labs are super smart, and I mean they also are some of the easiest dogs to train. So
yeah, and like so my mom's dog back home is like a pit bull lab, and so she's very smart naturally, and so she's a Labrador golden retriever, and golden retrievers are kind of dumb, but I think it'll balance out. She's also so young that
they're still easy to train though.
Yeah, it's not like she's like 5. But yeah, she's doing great. She's probably just gonna eat her bone. If she starts doing like weird things, I might have to take her out to pee, but I think we'll be good.
Oh, baby girl.
Yeah.
We love her.
Yeah, she's great. So how's everyone else's day been?
Fabulous. Just grinding, you know?
I love that. Yeah, other than getting a dog, which was really good, my Twitter got suspended. So rest in peace. You know, I think it happens to the best of us.
It really does.
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually. I think I'm just like annoyed that they didn't tell me why, because I haven't really honestly even been doing many political things recently. Like I've just been moving it. My life has like completely started over, and I just like haven't had the mental energy to like read political books or listen to podcasts and shit. Like I've just been vibing, and so like I'll occasionally make like a funny political tweet, but like I haven't really even been tweeting about that recently. So it's like, what did I possibly tweet besides pictures of Gabby that could have made me? It's like they didn't tell me why. So I don't know. That's what annoys me the most. It's like, what did I do? You know, but literally say why. I just tried to. I was actually coming on and I was making a whole ass thread too about how like the last owners gave Gabby up because she was super high energy, but like we took her outside for a 2-mile walk this morning and she was fine. And like all you have to do is exercise your dogs, and they're not high energy. Like dogs are only high energy because you don't exercise them and shit. And I was gonna make this whole ass thread, and it kept saying like, oh, your tweet wasn't sent right now, check your drafts. And then I was like, what? And then I logged onto my alt, which is now my main, and I could tweet. And then I logged back onto Liberty Thot, and it was like, your account's been suspended. And I was like, all right, well, I guess it finally happened.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, after all of the absolutely insane shit that you've said, I'm really shocked that now it's happening.
Right.
And I mean that respectfully, you know? To
Yeah.
each their own.
It's like the only thing I can think that I tweeted that might have done it is like I posted a picture of me. Well, I say it like it's such a casual thing, which like I guess it's bad, but like compared to what else I've tweeted, it's not bad. I like posted a picture at Walmart and like I was flipping off Jen Psaki because she was on the TV and I was like,
As you should.
this bitch stuck on the TV at Walmart, and that was it.
That's
And
not bad.
And it was like not that, and it's like I didn't say who it was, you know, and it could have been like a term of endearment, like, oh, this bitch, like, what's up, bitch, you know, it's like
That's
term of endearment.
I wonder if people like literally go back and like stalk your Twitter and like report a bunch of tweets or something.
I think they really do, yeah.
Because didn't you showed me like what it sent you? It said your account violated the rules.
Yeah, it was just like my whole account.
So
And
I wonder if someone just went through and reported a bunch of shit.
or I just got like one too many reports. I honestly just think Twitter headquarters is like reeing right now before Elon takes over and just like banning and they just saw that I had a lot of followers and they were like, banner. Don't care
honestly, if it said that your account violated the rules, they probably reported your account and not any tweets.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I'm gonna check what you can even report someone's account for. I've never done that before.
You don't mind.
Yeah. Try to report a liberal.
Try to report me. Okay, yeah.
I'll report Taylor Lorenz.
Yes, I love that.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
let's
quite crazy. Of all the things that like liberals can say, I mean, literally, okay, we have some things to talk about really quick because I was quite shocked yesterday seeing these tweets. You guys might have seen this girl's tweets going around named Amanda Duarte. She's like a journalist. I don't know like how famous or whatever she is, but she had she's like one of those major liberals that like is white. She's a white woman, but she hates white people. I think she's a white yeah. And so one of her right, she hates her own people, but one of her tweets blew up and she was like a nobody. She had like 8,000 followers, you know, like I had more than that. And she's like a fucking journalist. So
me having less than 2,000, I'm like, yeah, wow, what a
my mom was
a fucking loser. 8,000? Fuck.
No. Like, wow, yeah, damn, what a nobody.
Lame. Yeah, I have like 1.2 now. But yeah, so she had tweeted something and it was very problematic, which is why her account started blowing up. And it was like, I wonder how all these white men in office would feel about abortion if their daughters got raped by a black man. So that's and that wasn't word for word. It wasn't, but it was something like that. I can't find any screenshots of that specific tweet now, but she had tweeted that. And so then everybody was like attacking her, you know, like that's why she got bigger is because she had tweeted something extremely problematic. And so then, yeah, it's just people were going through her Twitter and just like looking at her old tweets. And she's been on Twitter for a long time. She's been on Twitter since 2016. One of her tweets in 2016 was, I almost want to get pregnant with Trump's baby and let it go full term just so I can rip it halfway out and cut its fucking head off.
Oh my God, what a vile, disgusting bitch.
So that was in 2016 and she's verified. So it's like people can really say shit like that, but I can't like flip off Jen Psaki. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just blows my mind how like one-sided fucking Twitter is right now. And like I get like Elon is buying it, whatever. But obviously nothing is in like full effect yet, you know. I mean, my account got banned after I've been being more low-key. Like I just got married. I haven't been posting thotty pictures. I just adopted a dog. Like I'm working on my house that I have not been like doing my trolling thing. Yeah, I've been living a real woman's life recently. So it's just like if now you're gonna like ban me after I become like a trad wife. Like it doesn't
okay, so if it said your account was this or your account violated the rules or whatever, I clicked on report. This is what you can report someone for. These are the options. I'm not interested in this account. It's suspicious or spam. It appears that their account is hacked. They're pretending to be me or someone else. Their profile info and or images include abusive or hateful content.
I guess
their tweets are abusive or hateful, or they're expressing intentions of self-harm or suicide. So I'm assuming someone reported your shit as
it must have just been like maybe I got a couple too many reports because like I have a lot of people like I mean I already saw earlier people were like oh you're gonna get banned again and I'm like you know what if I do I'll just keep coming back like I don't think the number of followers matter I think it's like who you have in the community of Liberty Twitter that's more important because it's like I'd rather have 5,000. I mean, if you want to look at it statistically, like I'd rather have 5,000 followers, and of those 5,000, they're very active and they're very online, and they're people with bigger accounts than like 13,000 with like not as much interaction, you know? And so like it's fine. Like I have my people in the community. I'm not worried about it, but it's just like so hey, you're okay. Come here. But it's just like so annoying because it's like, what did I literally tweet that made me get banned? Nothing. I've been tweeting fucking pictures of Gabby. Like, I think Twitter might be dog phobic. I don't know. I have not tweeted a single political thing. Oh, I tweeted yesterday. I was like a Daddy Trump moans as a joke, but like, I don't know.
I just think
things I would tweet.
If they're gonna, people like work hard to like gain their followings, right? Like like people like work on that shit and it takes a while and it you know people gain connections on Twitter and stuff and to just have that taken away like with literally no explanation like because at least if they gave you receipts and they were like this is the shit that you said that you can't say on Twitter, it would be like okay like I get that, whatever.
And back in the day when I would get suspended for like 12 hours at a time, or like once they gave me a week-long suspension for making fun of myself, we talked about that one, but like they would specifically tell me like what it is that I did. And so if there was like one tweet that like maybe because it would have been my 4th technical ban and it's like your 4th time you're out, you're suspended for good. It's like, well, what tweet was it? You know, because they didn't tell me. And it's also just like, I don't do OnlyFans anymore. But if I did, like that was my income for a good 4 months when I was living in California. It's like, that was my only income. So it's like, you know, you're going to take away people's livelihoods over different political views. It's just crazy to me. Like, it's insane. Like, I can't wrap my head around like what possibly could I have done besides make some jokes that Twitter is so fucking sad. And like, I was not big before on like the banning thing because I was just like, oh, you know what? I will be careful, whatever. But it's like, I actually didn't do anything and they just like banned my account. So it's like, now I really understand why people are so upset. And then, you know, you have people like Dennis, like everyone knows Dennis, Troll King, right? Like he comes on Twitter knowing that he's probably going to get banned again. And he tries to make his account as problematic as he can. It maybe lasts for like 2 weeks, maybe. But like he goes into it like knowing that he's going to get banned and just is problematic as fuck. Like I wasn't trying to do that. I wasn't trying to get my account banned. You know, it's like I was trying to limit it a little bit.
I mean, honestly, I'm a little shocked that, like, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I'm actually shocked that Hannah hasn't been banned either, only because of, I mean, you share the same opinions that we do, essentially.
Right.
Your following is larger than both of ours. And so I'm shocked that you haven't been banned, although if you do get, if the situation ever arises, I would love for a Stop Asian Hate campaign to stop or to start.
Please start that. I have a backup, but like I got accepted to like do the Twitter super follower thing. I don't really talk about it. I don't like push it on people. I have a few people that super follow me. It's fun, whatever.
Yeah, we both do.
Yeah, my besties do. But
I can do it on my new account.
I had to like apply for it, and so Twitter had to like review my account and then allow me to monetize it. So I am careful about what I say, like especially as my account has like gotten larger. I don't want to end up in a situation where I have more followers and then I lose it. So I am like, I try to be careful while still being as funny as I can be.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just have some sort of like approval from Twitter for the super follower thing. And I wonder like how, like what would happen with that if I got like suspended or if someone reported my account. I wonder if I would get more like transparency from Twitter. Cause I'm like, I'm on it and they take part of the money that I make, obviously. So like, I don't know. It's interesting to me though, that they allowed me to do that. Like that I got accepted into the super follower thing. So I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's like, I feel like there's really no rhyme or reason to it. Like it's just if people report you, I guess. Maybe I just don't
No,
push enough
it just has to be like massive, like this is a certain point, you're just gonna get so many reports. Like maybe now, like I was at 499 people reported me, and then all of a sudden I hit 500, and they were like, "Oh, her account's been suspended a few times over jokes. Like we're gonna just nuke her account now." I don't know what it is, but it's like they didn't tell me. And it's just like so annoying too, because it's like I'm fine. Like I know my friend like Zaynab, she got banned back when she had like 13K. Forest Mommy got banned, I think around the same number. And like now she's back on Twitter and she has even more followers than before. But it's like, what did they ban Forest Mommy for? Like accidentally showing her like tits, I think it was in her profile picture. But like
if you're watching, can you comment and tell us
on
what
Twitter
it was?
Yeah, wait, Forest Mommy, can you tell us in the chat what they banned you? I'm gonna just send her a link to the stream and see if she wants to hop in. Just gonna throw it out there, Forest Mommy, if you want to come in. But yeah, I'm just like so I don't know. I'm just annoyed like that. I really am starting to see the censorship now, and it's like really bothersome. And I think maybe before I was like, oh, it's fine because like I've been doing good and I haven't got my account banned, but now I did, and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, well, I mean, can you submit an appeal to Twitter like through your through?
Oh, I did, and I just haven't heard anything back yet.
Oh well, I mean, it just happened today, so it's not definitely not going to be like a 24-hour thing, probably.
If you don't hear back soon, I'll help you write a strongly worded letter.
She said I would, but she has no makeup.
Yeah, so no, but yeah, so it was like just no tits on her PFP or header, but it's like you allow porn on Twitter and like
what the fuck is that?
And it's just like I don't know. I just think nuking someone's account over something as small as that. It's not like I'm not even going to say like anything problematic as an example this time because I don't need anything taken out of context, but it's like, it's not like I'm saying extremely problematic shit. I'm just joking around and I'm more right wing than I am left wing. It's like, are you going to ban me for flipping off Jen Psaki when people used to fucking say they wanted to have Trump's baby and rip its head off? And that was in 2016. So that type of shit's been up for years and years and they never take it down. And like this girl, that wasn't even all she said. Like back in 2021 or 2021. Yeah. Okay. So she would say things like, stop having white children. That was another one. Perhaps the hardest truth to accept is that no one wants your fucking disgusting little white kids. That was another one. The entire anti-abortion movement is about white supremacy. More white women have abortions than any other group, and they need their babies to grow up to be trained to be white supremacists. And it's like, how are you going to literally let people say blatantly racist shit just because it's anti-white or pro-left? And then like, you're going to ban me for not saying anything even close to, can you imagine if that tweet had said black people instead of white people? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, if you don't want to have racism on Twitter, fine, but then delete shit like that, you know? It's just, you can really see how one-sided it is.
Yeah, that's actually awful.
It's awful to say things like that. Like you're talking about kids. Like you're straight up just like hating kids. It doesn't matter if they're white, like whatever race
you're just weaponizing
about. Stop having
it's like and it's only okay for her, or she's getting away with it, or whatever. People are finally calling her out now. She obviously hasn't caught much flack if they've been up since 2016.
Yeah, and she deactivated now, by the way.
It's only okay for her to say those things because she's white. Could you imagine it? Switch out all of her tweets and put black instead of white.
Right. Or like have her be like a Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I'm just like, that's literally my only theory is like it had to have been just people in the Twitter headquarters reading before Elon, you know, comes in to like change things. And they're just trying to get rid of as many people as they can.
Well, I mean, a lot of people who are getting like permanently suspended and things like that, they're like, their accounts are coming back to them.
Yeah. So I saw like,
I think that those will probably come back eventually.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna have
I'm hoping, but I mean, I don't think you're going to be like permanently banned from that.
Yeah. It's like over what? Like I just make jokes, you know, relax. I'm not tweeting anything blatantly hateful or racist or I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck Amanda Duarte is tweeting about, like having your kids, if your daughter got raped by a black, like, what?
She's making that tweet inherently racist.
No, she is. And she's like so low-key racist without like admitting it by like talking, even if you talk about how much you hate white people, like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but that's still racist, you know, like, yeah, it blows my mind.
That's interesting. Damn. How long has Dorsey been around?
I think he was the CEO up until the new guy took over. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But I think he was the CEO up until last year. And yeah, I mean, I remember being back on Twitter and like when I was in high school, I was on like fangirl Twitter. Like I had a Justin Bieber One Direction fan account and like,
oh my god,
just say the most like fucked up shit. Like, I mean, no one's gonna know who any of those people are, but there was like a beef between like Austin Mahone fans and Justin Bieber fans because everyone thought like Austin Mahone was trying to be Justin Bieber, and like we would just roast each other, like say awful things, always openly saying the N-word with a hard ER, and like just saying really fucking rude, fucked up shit to each other, and nobody, not that I was saying the N-word with a hard ER, but I was back in 2013 saying the N-word without the hard ER on Twitter. Okay. Those accounts are gone. Like, whatever, cancel me. I've talked about this before. I used to say it, but like, that was the type of shit that you used to be able to say on Twitter. And now it's like, oh, you tweet Daddy Trump and you're gonna get your banned, you know? Like,
yeah.
Well,
and I mean, like,
MAGA phase.
Oh, sorry.
I said maybe it was Sarah's MAGA phase.
I think it was. You know, that's so funny. One of my friends, he was like, it was probably like someone in corporate just like had a auto bot going around finding everyone who kept talking about MAGA and shit, and it was just like banning all of them. I was like
fucking hashtagging MAGA.
Yeah, I was
going through the MAGA hashtag and just fucking.
I was saying, like the election was rigged and shit, but it's like you know that that's just a troll if you actually look at my account, and I don't think people should be banned for having a fun little silly goofy mood, you know.
Honestly, I don't think that they care whether or not you're joking or not. To them, misinformation is misinformation regardless. Yeah. And so I honestly think that they don't even care if you're joking.
Yeah. No, they don't. And that's the annoying thing though, is like I think back in the day they used to really, really like look at whose account was actually joking and like worth banning. And like you did not used to get banned like this back in the day. Like I used to say some awful shit to Austin Mahone fans on Twitter and I did not get banned. And like that was back in like 2013 era. Like I was like a freshman in high school. So it's just like I don't know if it was more government regulations or government being involved in like who gets banned on Twitter or them having more of a say, but it is not like it used to be. I don't know if you guys were on Twitter back then, but I was.
I've had Twitter since 2012.
We love that for you, Queen.
So I was 14.
Yeah.
98.
Was it the same account or a different account?
Same account.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
If I go to your account, it'll say since 2012.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now.
Go look.
Oh my god. You're a fucking OG bitch.
I am an OG bitch. Although I will say, Sarah, I have the same birthday as Justin Bieber.
I love that.
That's cute.
I do. I have the same birthday as him. That's how I'm sorry, excuse me. That's how a lot of people have remembered my birthday. And I'm like,
is his birthday in March or am I tripping?
March 1st.
Yes.
Okay. Noah's birthday is March 2nd. I was like, I don't want to say March 2nd because then I'm just saying Noah's birthday. But I was like, I think it actually is March 2nd, March 1st. See, I still got it, baby. I still know I'm the best.
Yeah, I have the same birthday as Justin Bieber and Kesha. And
right, they have this.
And Frederick Chopin.
Who?
I love that.
He's a classical music composer.
Oh, obviously.
And Glenn Miller.
I love it.
Yeah,
I don't know who any of them are, but I'm so happy for you. Well, I know who Justin Bieber and Kesha are, obviously.
Thank you. I was homeschooled.
I just looked it up, and it says that the Twitter deal for Elon buying it will not is not expected to close for 3 to 6 months.
Oh my God.
Ooh, holy shit.
So we better be careful for the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, follow my new account. I mean, I'm not Liberty Thot, but I'm sure if she wanted to get back on Twitter, she would probably need to make a fake VPN, which changes her IP address. So,
which she could hypothetically do.
Which hypothetically she could do, which is not me. I would never do something like that. If Twitter tells me if Twitter tells Liberty Thot she needs to get offline, she's gonna get offline. But you know, if I were her, I would just keep making a new account off a new VPN every time they banned her. That's what I would do if I was Liberty. And it's like,
I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I would. I love Twitter. It's not even like that I care about like my following or anything like that. Because I mean, I have not even 2,000, but like,
yeah,
mind you, I do love the people who are on there.
And it's like, if to me, it wasn't about
like Twitter's just funny.
It's
just fun.
It's about like, I don't go on Facebook. I'm not a huge Instagram person. Like I'll post stories, but I'm not like sitting out. Like I go on Twitter and I love the people I talk to. And it's like so frustrating because it's like people would be like, oh, Twitter, it's just an app. It's like, well, I met you guys on Twitter. I met my fucking husband off the Liberty Thot account. You know, it's like you can actually get a lot of good things off of social media and Twitter. And so it's like for them to just throw around these casual bans, like it doesn't mean something. Well, like it is upsetting, a little bit, you know, like I'm fine. I'm not going to like cry myself to sleep because my account got banned, but it's just like still annoying because like I have a lot of friends online and like, especially now living in Kansas City, I don't have any friends here yet. Like I go online and talk to my homies. It's like, this is actually this is the 21st century. You talk to people online. Thankfully, I'm not really using it for income anymore, but it's like, what if I was, you know, it's just, you can't just ruin people's livelihoods like this. You
should pretend to be like a resistor.
Yeah.
Like,
that's on my bio right now. I don't know if you guys have read it because you guys already followed my alt.
Yeah.
Get vaxxed, get waxed, mask up, ass up. I stand with Ukraine. I stand with your mom. # Democrat, # not a rat. Biden rocks. AOC my queen.
Oh my God, that's perfect. That is perfect. You can just a parody account now, honestly.
I know. So I'm pretending to be, I am a liberal. I'm a liberal.
Dude, you could infiltrate and then just be a fucking parody account. That is
right? And then my header is Kamala Harris.
Oh my God.
So I'm keeping it low key for a bit. But yeah. So also my new Twitter, if anyone hasn't, it's Liberty Baddie. I'll type it, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's annoying, and I really hope something can come to be with this banning that happens all the time, because it's like, this is the life that we live now, and it's like, this is how we stay connected, and you can't just ban people for having a fucking political opinion. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, earlier today it was interesting with all the like Roe v. Wade stuff going on. A lot of my there was actually one of my coworkers who had posted some like pro-life stuff like on Instagram, and one of my coworkers today came up to me. Instead of saying hi, she was like, oh my gosh, not so and so being pro-life. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, I'm actually pro-life. And she was like, never mind, like, you know, and she just like stopped talking. And I was like, and I looked at her and I was genuinely like, no, it's okay. Like,
yeah.
And mind you, my reasons for being pro-life have absolutely nothing to do with religion, because
right.
You don't have to. In my opinion, the whole concept of being pro-life has nothing to do with religiosity.
Right.
And
absolutely not.
Yeah. And so like I had mentioned that to her. I was like, I mean, you know, I was brought up religious and like, you know, I still identify as such, but my beliefs aren't rooted in that. And she was like, oh, so like what's the difference between like you and her? And I was like, well, like, and I had just mentioned to her like, you know, a few things. And she was like, but you don't think that you should take that right away from anyone else, right? And I was like, thing. I was like sitting there and I was like, well, it's not like a right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we just disagree here, love.
Yeah, and so then she was like, never mind, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut, like, whatever. And I was like, oh, well, okay, like, if you ever want to talk about it, like, we can. And the rest of the shift, mind you, she was so awkward to me and everyone else on shift that she knew was pro-life. And like she couldn't interact with them. And it was just so weird because when I had gotten home, because so I opened earlier today, and so I was there super early.
Right,
And
like
so
4 a.m.
Yeah, and so I got off early. And so, I was home by like noon, I ate something, took a nap, whatever. And when I woke up, I had seen her Instagram story and she's just angry. And I was like,
Yeah.
and because I don't know, she could just act, because after that, like just that small interaction we had, the vibe immediately changed. Like she is always super excited to work with me. She's always super loving on me, like all of that. But instantly the vibe changed.
That's so annoying.
And I was like,
you weren't going to treat her any differently. So why does she have to treat you differently?
Exactly. And I mean, like, I don't know, not trying to be a bitch, but like, it's kind of easy to like not get pregnant.
Yes.
Period.
It is.
Like you can literally just either not have sex. You can also just like use a contraceptive.
Get on birth
both
control.
Men and women, or one or the other, because both are extremely accessible. Or, you can take a plan B. While that's not, ideal or good for you, you can do it.
B.
Exactly. And so, like, it's not like it's not fucking hard.
Right.
I don't know. It just bothers me.
Need to get to the point where you have to kill a baby.
Exactly.
If you don't want to have a baby, it doesn't need to get to the point where you kill that baby.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't need to. And if you're gonna be, like, and also like when you are consenting, again, like we've had this conversation, like I truly believe that if you are consenting to sex, you are consenting to every single consequence that comes with that.
Right.
You are consenting to whether that be an STD, whether that be pregnancy, things like that. Like you are consenting to everything that comes with that action, including, emotional attachment, including, all those things that, about. Like
if you're raw dogging somebody, you should be worried about an STD. Never mind the baby. That's like your last concern. Put a fucking sleeve on it because you don't know that person. So, like, why are you worried about a baby? Well, you should be worried about your health.
Right. I think the problem is just so many people growing up have like thought of abortion so casually, and it takes a lot for you to be able to like put your pride aside and shift your mindset and be like, wait, this is like not good.
You have to admit to yourself what it actually is.
And I just think a lot of people can't admit to themselves because they get so caught up in identifying part of themselves into their tribe. And so now they can't like even bother to like try and listen to someone else's opinion because like they've identified themselves like with that side of politics. And I mean, that just comes down to a lot of things in politics, but like, especially this abortion issue, it's so crazy to like talk about these things because it's just so, even in the libertarian community, it's so like two-sided. Like nobody can agree on it. You good, girl?
And like, I mean, one thing that I think is interesting though is that like I've met more pro-life libertarians now than I ever have in my life. Like, because when I was younger, I have this theory that there's like old age and new age libertarianism. How like with old age libertarianism, it's kind of like not necessarily sexual revolution, but like kind of to a degree. Because like, they just want everyone to just mind their own, which like I get that. But a lot of like these old age libertarians, almost all of them are pro-choice. And so because they don't believe, that the government should, make laws about that, blah, 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 which like I get your logic. Like I get that. But every single libertarian that I've ever met who's my age, younger, or even just a few years my senior, like all of them are pro-life. I mean, staunchly pro-life. And so like a part of me kind of feels like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. And so that's why I have this theory that there's like a new age libertarianism and an old
I
age
think
libertarianism.
I am inclined to agree with you because I think that new age libertarians can like
Recognize that it's a different person.
And recognize that older libertarians ideally like the government is not involved in anything, right? That's like very much the utopia. New age libertarians understand that like we're gonna have a government, we're not gonna get rid of the government. So if we're gonna have a government, let's at least have them have some laws that make sense and protect lives. Like if we're gonna have to deal with some sort of government body, let's at least make it make sense. Like
and I think like new age libertarians or like Mises caucus, if you want to call it more, they're a little bit more, it seems like conservative leaning in the sense that it's like, yeah, we don't care if you want to fucking do heroin and shit, but we're going to tell you that it's a really fucking bad idea. And it's like a lot of the old school libertarians, it seems like they were more just like hippies, like, oh yeah, everyone let's like sit around and snort coke out of each other's buttholes and like whatever, But it's like nowadays, it's like, hey, look, you can do those things and we don't think the government should punish you, but you're really fucking stupid if you want to do that shit. And
yeah, exactly.
Kind of becoming more of like, we're not necessarily putting our political views on it, but we're putting like our personal views in it, and just we're gonna call you out and tell you that you're being fucking stupid.
Yeah. Because I mean, also like,
like it's stupid to get one. This is how it is. You're killing a baby. Should the government be involved? That's where the slippery slope is. But you still are doing this. You still are killing a baby, and we're allowed to be against it.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, like the whole concept of like government intervention. I mean, there's government intervention when it comes to like, literal like, murder against like human like adults. And so, like what's the difference?
Right.
And so, the difference here is just like, one individual is inhabited in another's womb. And so like, however, they are still two separate entities with two separate completely DNA and like all of those things. And so all with just those things established, that person is their own human being. So yeah. They get the same rights as all of us.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think that, I don't know. I feel like more like old age libertarians. A part of me feels like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a generational thing or like maybe, I don't know, everyone was just like drugged up during,
I think they're all
Vietnam and Korea War, like, I don't know, something like that. But like, I think people now have more information regarding the subject. And so I think a lot of people's opinions have changed.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, the fact is you have to speak about what it is, and this is what it is. And, people are brainwashed into thinking that's not what it is, but it is killing a baby. And if you want to kill your baby, fine, but just go into it knowing that you're killing your baby. And I think now we're just so faced with, because the government is involved, it makes it a lot more of a difficult issue for us to talk about, not only as humans, but as like specifically libertarians, because that's where the issue lies. And to be honest, if you banned abortion, I would be surprised at how many people just had safer sex.
Also, I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if people, like a lot of more people practice, safe sex and even abstinence. Because I mean, like, if you don't have access to something that's going to enable your lifestyle, then you're going to have to switch some shit up. And if you can't afford to, travel overseas or, leave the country or something like that, like, you're going to have to, get it together or deal with the consequences of your continued actions.
Right.
And so, yeah.
It's just a lot of it too, I think, is like Sarah said, like people are brainwashed about the reality of what abortion is. Like,
yeah.
I guarantee you, if you ask like the average pro-life person to explain an abortion procedure, they couldn't, and they wouldn't even know what it would look like. But like, if they knew what the reality of an abortion was and what it looks like and what you're doing and like what the baby looks like, then I feel like that alone would change a lot of minds. But people are just allowed to be ignorant to the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a weird brainwashing situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting because my coworker who was, talking to me about all of this stuff today about how, like, and how uncomfortable she was and stuff like that. She was like, well, just like, what are your, like, out of curiosity, just like, what are some of your reasons for being pro-life and stuff like that? And I had mentioned how, I had mentioned Margaret Sanger. I had mentioned the whole racism issue behind it. And then I had also mentioned how abortion enables and perpetuates human trafficking.
Right.
And how, I mean, if an individual, like, they go into an abortion clinic, like, now their womb is again, it's barren and they're back in business. Like, as terrible and as crass as that is to just say it blankly and simply as that, that's the reality of it though. And so,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that like, if they get pregnant, like, woohoo, good for them. Like, it's a terrible situation. Like, I get it. Well, I would understand an individual's desire to be tempted to terminate or to seek that out. I would absolutely empathize with that because that's traumatic. And so I can absolutely understand that. But I also just don't think that that a lot of individuals who have been lied to about abortion don't necessarily understand that, the individual inside you now, like, anything that's ever happened to you or any other individual is not their fault.
Yeah.
And so they've done nothing to you. And, it's like you're taking this out on them because it's inconvenient for you. And so, in my personal opinion, I think that the concept of abortion is rooted in selfishness and immaturity.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as soon as, before abortion was a thing, or before legal abortion was a thing, people would, you get your fucking act together. Like, now you're the adult and I don't know.
That's life. That's literally life. It's like
Exactly.
trying to say that men can have babies too. It's when you have sex and a fucking little spermie swims up to the egg and fertilizes the egg, congratulations, you have a baby. That's how it works. That's biology. You don't get to change biology for your convenience and for what you believe your rights are and to lie to people because you're blind. That's a baby, and I'm sorry, but you knew what you were getting into when you decided to have sex with that person, and there was always a possibility of baby. So
it's crazy. I had this analogy because I've been watching a shit ton of dog training videos, and the TV that we have right here, automatically when I turn it on, it goes onto the news. Before I was able to put it on Disney Plus and watch the Dog Whisperer show. Okay, so I was watching the news for like 5 minutes and it was talking about abortions, and I just saw a bunch of like pro-life people just like talking about how like it's their right to their body and this and that. And then
pro-choice?
And it's like something triggers you when you have to watch that type of shit. It's like, okay, well, you're sitting here on a fucking podium to national television talking about how you want to kill children. Cool. And then I was watching the fucking Dog Whisperer, and this show's old, but this was like back 2010. He said that like 6 million dogs a year get euthanized. And like, if you put liberals in the same situation, they're all probably very pro, like, oh my God, save the dogs, don't euthanize them, like take them to no-kill shelters. Well, guess what? That dog getting euthanized, it's because the dog parents were irresponsible, and obviously it was the dog owners, but you know what I mean? They had dogs that they could not bear and could take care of, and now they want to kill the fucking dog. If you don't like that, then why the fuck is it the same situation for a child? Oh, yeah, go ahead. No, don't kill the dog. Don't kill the dog. It's not its fault that it couldn't have a good life, but you want to kill the child? Like, I don't get it. Like, how does that make sense? You care about the dog. I'm not saying don't care about dogs, but like you really care about the dog's life more than the child's life. Like, I don't see how you can't kind of see it in the same way. You know what I mean? Like, they're very pro, like, oh, don't take them to take them to no kill shelters. Like, don't kill dogs just because you know, but it's like you want to kill babies because they're not going to have a good life.
But they've like rewired their thinking to think that it's not a baby, it's a fetus, right? Like, I always think about whenever this like conversation comes up about abortion, I can't help but think about women who want to be mothers so badly and can't for whatever reason, knowing that people are arguing about being able to just get rid of their babies. Because when you're a woman who wants to get pregnant and wants to have a baby and wants to be a mother, the minute that you pee on that stick and it says pregnant, that's a baby in your stomach.
Exactly.
And that it's not the only reason that all these people who are pro-choice are able to see it differently is because they literally don't see it that way. They see it as a fetus or a clump of cells or whatever. They don't see it as a baby. Whereas someone who does want a baby, it's a baby. Once you're pregnant, that's a baby, period.
Right. Yeah, that's also because like I would love to like get pregnant right now. Like, I mean, I'm obviously married and me and my husband want to have kids. So when you fuck, you just fuck. And like when I see a positive pregnancy test, I will probably be very happy and instantly be like, oh my God, I have a baby in me. But then it's like when you don't want it, it's like not a baby. Like that's weird to me because like it's a baby. Like I will be so fucking happy when I'm pregnant, you know, because like I want to have a kid. But then it's like there's girls out here that just like, I don't know, didn't be careful and they accidentally got pregnant. And to them, it's not a baby. Well, it's like, well, then let me, like, I wish I was pregnant, you know? But then, I mean, it's not a black and white issue. I just think the way that people look at pregnancy, like that is the biggest underlying issue. And that's the biggest underlying issue with Roe versus Wade. It's like, well, yeah, they're banning abortion, but are they banning abortion or are you going to say it's banning killing children? Like, it's just how you look at it.
Exactly. Juliana, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. I had no idea I was muted. But I was just saying a second ago that I've also noticed the pattern of that when people don't want it, it's a fetus, and then when they do, it's a baby. And when in Latin, fetus literally means baby. So if you want to call it a fetus, you're still calling it a baby. The only thing that you're doing is kind of desensitizing it in a different language. That's all you're trying to do. And you're trying to like, I don't know, it just bothers me. Like a lot. But I don't know. I've also seen a lot of tweets and stuff like that, which I think are like hilarious, talking about how like suddenly, you know, oh, you know, no uterus, no opinion. Like now you're gonna define what a woman is. Now you're gonna define. Okay.
All of a sudden, I know. Well, so I'm curious about, because Hannah, you're like the law person, and then Juliana, I know you're a little more into the pro-life scene than I am. So like, apparently this Supreme Court issue got leaked. I don't know if you guys have looked much into that. So like, what do you think about, like, first of all, what happened to people who have not been paying attention and have a pea brain like me? I heard that something got leaked, and like whatever got leaked about the Roe versus Wade issue, it should not have been leaked because that was like private SCOTUS stuff. Second of all, what does it mean going forward? You know?
Yes. So I did read into what happened. A draft of an opinion got leaked by somebody. It's hard to say by who. There's
most likely a clerk.
Yeah, probably a clerk who has, you know, someone who has access to the draft who was editing it or something.
Yeah.
Leaked it, and the Supreme Court confirmed that it was real and said that their ruling not, you know, their final opinion that's like actually meant to be published will probably be published within 2 months. So it's pretty much what happened is people found out about it before it was actually published. From what I gathered, they didn't backtrack. They didn't say like, no, we're just discussing it, whatever. It was like very much, yep, this is real. When it's published, you'll see what it was meant to say, pretty much. So It's very interesting. Like, I'm sure they're going to find out who leaked it. I'm sure that all of their computers are very highly trackable and someone sent it somewhere and they're going to be able to find the paper chain of it.
In all actuality, I'm not going to lie. I actually don't think that they're going to try and find who leaked it. Obviously, of course, Roberts has initiated an investigation. However, I'm assuming that the individual who leaked this is either, a clerk from one of the liberal judges or someone who is liberal in some shape or form.
I mean, it had to have been leaked sort of intentionally because this is the first thing that's ever supposedly been leaked out of SCOTUS. And so it's like, well, how do we feel about that,
Yeah. And so personally, I think that, what was I going to say? I mean, honestly, I feel like they wanted just to start a lot of national outcry. And then I also think it's convenient that this is released, that this, leak was released the same day that Pfizer releases like 60,000 pages worth of data.
Yeah.
I also thought that was interesting. I haven't looked into the 60,000 pages of data because I have a life.
Pages, right. And they want you to look into it. That's why it's 60,000 pages of things that people that don't have a medical degree can't understand. Like,
yeah, exactly. And but personally, if everything happening right now was on the opposite end of the spectrum, like for example, they were trying to they were trying to legalize abortion and stuff like that, and a conservative, either a justice, like a conservative justice or a conservative justice's clerk leaked the document, that individual would be found within 24 hours, doxxed, ID'd, fired, disbarred, all of that. I already know.
In the fucking square.
Yes, exactly. And they would be absolutely like fire squad on them. I don't know if it'd be that serious, but like their life would be over.
Yeah.
And so
that's why it's just I don't even know if it was a clerk. Maybe it was the fucking reptiles. Like who knows who
There's
a reason that just specifically got leaked right now. It's like,
yeah, no, and honestly, and I mean, like, obviously, of course, like, one thing that I really do like about SCOTUS is that, they don't have to play the political game because they do serve lifelong sentences, LMAO, lifelong, what is it? Terms?
Yeah.
Sorry, sentences. My bad. And so, they don't have to appease to the crowd to save to essentially save their spot on the bench. However, I do think that it was, again, like either some sort of like ploy or something to spark immediate national outcry in order to sway justices.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course, like justices, like they're gonna, they're gonna do and say what they're gonna do and say. But I still think that, any sort of public outcry with all of this, it can still pressure them because, I mean, whichever way that they're going to lean eventually, their families are going to be threatened. They're going to be threatened, like all of this. And so, like, they also have to lead in regards to, with their family in mind and with themselves in mind, because like, I mean, the Obamas, like when they were, when their daughters went off to school, like, obviously, of course, nothing was going to happen to them safety wise because of who their dad is, because of what he believes in. However, that's not the case for Barron Trump. So, it's just interesting how like different parties kind of, you got to watch out for your family because of XYZ. And so that's also one thing that I am also very nervous about for the conservative justices too, especially ACB.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, anyone that Trump put in is going to have a target on their back naturally. Like,
yeah,
I've been
I'm just
reading.
talking about because she has like 6 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm really concerned about. Yeah.
It's scary because you do see people on Twitter talking about like, oh, this is Trump's court. Like, this is what Trump's court is capable of, and like blah blah blah. And he's again the scapegoat for all the bullshit. But it's
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like, okay, so what?
these
Like-
people are some of the most educated, intelligent, well-spoken people in America, and they have this job for a reason. It's not Trump doing this. It's that those people were fucking qualified for the job, and that's the job that they got hired to do. They write legal opinions about rulings that have already gone through the courts. That's the fucking job of the code.
And
so,
even if they're liberal or not, like there's absolutely nothing in government that I appreciate more than the Supreme Court. Like I love reading cases just for fun, or like listening to podcasts about cases just for fun. Because I mean, even like what's her name, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Even though I didn't agree with her on a lot of stuff, I thought that she was notoriously brilliant. Like she was incredibly intelligent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just like that's not going to stop me from completely disregarding her opinion because she's super pro-abortion. Like she also did some really great things for women outside of that. So
and you can acknowledge her education and her intelligence and the fact that
and the effort that she
in a man's world
to get into law school. And like she took, I remember what is it, I read this thing about her where sadly I haven't seen the movies about her, but she did this thing where her husband was diagnosed with colon cancer, and for the last 2 years of law school for the two of them, she attended his classes for him.
Wow.
And so she was not only a full-time legal student, but she was like double
legal student.
And taking his notes and stuff for him and helping him
taking his notes and stuff like that. And so like then he would then when he was getting cancer treatment and stuff like that, she would take his stuff home to him. He would study, take exams, blah blah blah. And so but she was
queen shit.
Literally. And so you can absolutely appreciate these justices and their hard work and intelligence without completely discrediting them. However, what's I think also really sad, sorry, this is a little bit of a rant.
No, you're good.
But I think that in order for people to recognize that, and this might sound arrogant, but I think you have to have some sort of higher intelligence to recognize that, and humility, because people just don't it's not something that's taught. And then people are literally taught that the Supreme Court are meant to rule on their opinions.
Yeah.
People don't know what the Supreme Court is genuinely for, and people are
and
against
people of a lower intelligence can't sit and accept that people are going to have different opinions than them, and they're not going to be willing to sit and have a conversation. Why? I mean, it's just a general, no matter what it is, whether it's a SCOTUS thing and a judge there, or in general, it takes a higher intelligence person to be able to sit there and really analyze someone's opinions on something and see if they want to change their opinion on it.
Well, and it's funny to me too that so many people discredit SCOTUS judges if they politically disagree with them, because I think all three of us can agree that we abso-fucking-lutely know that any court justice, liberal or conservative, is 100 times smarter than we will ever be.
Oh, for sure.
So, whether we agree with them or not, they probably have more of the facts and can make a better informed decision than I can about what they're doing than my fucking opinion on Twitter. People are so beyond smart. We can't even comprehend how fucking intelligent they are.
Right, and some people are just naturally gifted. And
Right. I mean, yeah, you
how
can't teach
it is.
people to be that smart. When you are that smart, you just are. And what you do with it, obviously they've done everything they can with their intelligence, but
Right.
people who are not intelligent, I feel like don't understand that. Like they can't recognize that some people absolutely know more than they do. And
Yeah,
like
or that some people like, you know,
that for themselves.
yeah, that is also one thing that I found to be incredibly jarring in my experience in the workplace. How like there was this individual that I worked with when I was still working at Starbucks, and this person is a male to female transgender individual and has been trans since they were like, I think like 13 or something like that. And they're my age now, they're 24. And this person was talking to me, I remember, about how, they're super pro Trump. They voted for Trump last election, the election beforehand, all of that stuff, because like this person recognized what Trump was doing for like LGBTQ communities and like stuff like that. And there was this other girl on shift that night who was overhearing our conversation and was like, how could you do that to yourself? Like, blah, blah, blah. And yeah. And like was just basically going in on this, trans individual who clearly knew what the fuck they were talking about. And,
how dare you think for yourself?
Yeah.
Exactly.
How dare you?
And I was just like sitting here like, dude, like, you think that someone should vote based on like what they look like or like how they feel or like what? Like, I don't know. Like that has just been something. And even in college, I ran into the same thing, both undergrad and graduate school. And I was like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, y'all know that life is way different outside of academia, right? Like,
Yeah.
like if anyone needs to fucking touch grass, it's individuals with fucking PhDs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I was actually talking to my husband about this yesterday, and I was talking about how people vote, especially liberals, vote based on personality of the person.
Why JFK was elected.
What?
That's why JFK was elected.
Right, exactly. So it's like they vote on the personality rather than the policy, when really it doesn't. I think you've said something similar, Jay. It's like it doesn't matter what the person's personality is. It doesn't matter that Trump might be an asshole or say stupid shit or be fucking hilarious and piss people off.
Yeah.
That doesn't really matter. It matters what his policies say. And people are too dense to understand that, so they can't look past the personality to see the policies and what matters, which is why elections in modern day America are fucking bullshit, because it's all a show for all the stupid fucking people who are just gonna like buy whatever the person is saying and then not really ever look into like, I wonder how his policies are gonna
and
affect
they've
my
made
life.
it that way for a reason. They've made it be all based off of like personality and outside appearance versus actual policy.
Yeah, and I actually said that one time, Hannah, in a class, because we were talking about, I was in a public policy course, and I remember asking, like, and mind you, every single one of my classmates, they all knew my personal beliefs. My professors knew my personal beliefs. However, I never, ever, ever spoke about it in any of my assignments. I was extremely neutral. And, when I spoke about things from like, that happened to be conservative, I used very gentle language.
Yeah.
And that, it kept me safe for the most part. That kept me safe. What didn't keep me safe was the fact that they knew my personal beliefs. But I did ask this one time in a class where I was like, because we were talking about political behavior. And we were talking about, JFK and how television had a huge, huge impact in him winning the election, because
some fucking guy.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before. Yeah.
You could see his face, you could hear his voice, you could, you could see his charm, you could see his appearance, all of that. Right. And, he won so much more than his political opponent. And we were talking about how, like, how like TV and radio has just completely fucking changed political behavior entirely.
Yeah.
And but I got on the subject of, presidential personalities and the like, and I was like, I remember just asking, like, straight up, like, why do people vote based on XYZ? Like, do they realize that we don't elect a personality, we elect someone for their policies? And everyone in the class, except for the professor thought it was a good question, but everyone in the class just absolutely fucking flipped a table. They were they were just so upset, and they were like literally one girl looked at me and called me stupid. She was like, how stupid can you be? Like, you've been in the political science department, you're a junior now. Like, this was years ago. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, you actually vote on personality? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
That's why it's all the way it is because it's all about the fucking personality. I will go into my grave saying that Obama was one of the best public speakers and
absolutely
one of the most charismatic motherfuckers to ever exist, and that is 100% why he won the presidency.
Absolutely.
1,000,000,000%. And he still is. He's charming as fuck. Even when I see him fucking speaking on TV.
I'm pretty sure he's in the country right now still. So
yeah, pretty sure he's running the country right now because he's still living in DC.
I wish that he was the president instead of fucking Biden at this point.
I would too.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with you, but yeah.
At least the speeches would be better and more entertaining.
Yes. And at least you could understand like what he was going for versus like
I disagree with understanding what he's going for because I will also die on the hill that his policies were fucking bullshit and
Obamacare can suck my left toe.
Like literally, don't even get me started. We could do a whole episode about Obama's policies. But he's the reason I got involved in politics because his policies were so dog shit, but I was so mesmerized by the person that he was that I totally understood why people voted for him.
Oh, absolutely. My dad, he and I talk about politics a lot, but he's very much like you and I, like how like literally all of us with his beliefs too. He's a lot more conservative and traditional. However, like, he's definitely all in with the like adrenochrome reptilians. Like he's in on that. Like, yeah. And so he was talking to me and he was like, yeah, like I fucking hate Obama. But he was like, but dude, he was like, this dude knows how to speak and he knows how to charm a country and he does it well. And he said, and he spoke nothing but positive things about his speaking abilities, not what he was talking about, but his ability. And people somehow cannot differentiate someone's abilities versus their personalities and like what they like and like their policies and stuff like that. Because I mean, I remember when Obamacare was put in place, it helped financially ruin my family. Like, it was just awful. And especially also being in California at the time, like, dude, not a good time. Like, not a good time.
Poor people more money for not being able to afford healthcare.
Yeah. And so I want to say in 2008, I was 10 years old. And so that's pretty much when I started kind of being a lot more conscientious of like shit that was going down. And honestly, Obama's presidency and the recession of 2008 radicalized the fuck out of me. Like, and I mean, I was 10 years old.
I was a neocon from the minute that I got involved in politics. And then
yeah. And I would say I was probably a neocon up until, actually, I don't know if I was ever a neocon. I don't think I was ever cool with like war, but like I definitely was like, yeah, like I hope George Bush wins. Cause I mean like the alternative.
Right.
Yeah, I would sure fucking want George Bush versus the alternative. Like, I'm glad he won versus fucking John Kerry. Like,
that was such a skis.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, oh man, yeah. It's funny talking to like customers now at Dutch Bros because people are always like, oh yeah, like I've heard about it from my friends on the West Coast, blah blah blah. Like, how did you become familiar with it? And I was like, oh, like I was born and raised in California, and I was born and raised in California, and I've been here since 2016, and they were like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, it radicalized me. And that's when they tip fat. And so,
yeah. No, I know. I went. Oh my god, that's so funny. I was in like, so we signed up with this gym, and they have like some nicer gyms here. In that level, like in the gym, there's some nicer. There's different levels, whatever. And we were at the nice one. I thought there was a pool to tan at, and I asked people at the front desk. I was like, "Hey, where's the pool?" And they were like, "Oh, we don't have one here." And like, I basically was like, "Oh, well, I'm from California, and I need to tan every week, or I'm gonna wither and die." And they were just like, oh, like they didn't they thought I was one of the, because like I am like a huge valley girl, like without the politics, you know what I mean? So they heard like Californian who needs to tan every week or she's gonna die. Oh my god, she's a major lib. But I'm like, no, like not even like that. Like I like I heard the tone of their voices and I was like, oh, they didn't like my joke because they thought I was one of those Californians, but like I'm not. But I forget that people from like that here, like, oh, you're from California, they think like, you know.
Same
but that's
with like Oregon. They just assume you're a fucking liberal. Yeah.
But then they'll find out I'm cool, and then hopefully it'll be all good. But I was like, might have started off on the wrong foot with the front desk people at my new gym. So there's that. Oh God, yeah, it's great. Juliana, I think. Oh no, you didn't freeze. Okay. But yeah, how's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? We've gone over an hour, so we'll probably wrap it up. But if you guys have any closing comments, I just have to say fuck you to the person in corporate who banned me on Twitter.
So true.
I'm not Liberty Thot, thankfully. But if I was Liberty Thot, my new app would probably be this. So there's that. If I was.
And if we don't hear back, or if Liberty Thot doesn't hear back on her appeal, she will be hearing from Liberty Thot's legal representation.
Amen.
Which is me.
I got you and Patriot J. I'm about to DM you.
Seriously.
Yo, I need a lawyer.
And a paralegal.
I literally, that's so funny. I tweeted a few weeks ago. I was like, I want to file a lawsuit just so I can hire you guys. My time might be coming to shine. We're all about to shine, so let's go.
I'll do your PR. I'll write your speeches.
Amen.
This is a whole campaign.
No,
literally.
Back to Twitter.
Literally.
We will sue. So just be warned, Twitter.
I will sue. I will sue you, Twitter. I will sue you, Jack Dorsey, and I will eat all of your chickens that you have in your backyard alive. I didn't want to take that too dark. It was going dark, so I'm reversing it.
I was like, where is this going? I was like, hey, yo.
I wanted you alive. I'll just eat your chickens. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Anyone else?
Same, basically. No. Also, sorry about all the rants, everyone.
No, you're good. It was just a little, getting our anger out over being
banned. Yeah. Instead of going to therapy, this is what I do.
This is what we do. So it works
so
out.
Much cheaper. This is great.
So let's hear our deranged thoughts. So that's fun.
So true.
All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. We'll be back next week.
Juliana, don't hang up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that before we end, but yes.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.